Hey, everybody, it's me, Jonathan Millard, the voice of the Vale, and welcome to another Big Hype podcast, brought to you exclusively empowered by Hype Energy Drinks. And protect yourself at all times wearing Bravos boxing gloves and equipment. And of course, please support our charity of choice, Boxers in Need. Links are all in the bios. But joining me on the studio tonight via his home up in Manchester way, somewhere up there.
North Wales, mate.
Ah, I got it
North
wrong.
Wales.
North
Wales,
a fellow Welsh Walian, a fellow Walian like me. Anyway, joining me from his house in North Wales, Mr. Rob Cunningham.
Pleasure being on, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. Been a while.
Do you know what? I've said that before we started, and we just have a little quick catch up. It's been got to be like 6-7 years since I last called you into a cage or a ring. I don't even know what I called you into, but it was probably a cage.
Yeah, I think the last fight of mine was probably one on FCC that you did as an amateur, and that's 2018. Must be.
It was before COVID.
Yeah.
I know that. That was probably when I was kind of still working FCC shows. Loved those shows. They were always good shows.
Yeah,
it was always great to see so many talent like yourself coming through. But I'll ask the same question that I ask everyone, although it's not related to boxing this time. But how and why did you get involved with mixed martial arts and fighting?
I started quite late, to be fair. I didn't join. Well, the first time I stepped into any sort of martial arts sort of based gym, I was 26. But it was more one-on-one sessions. I wasn't doing any sort of classes or anything like that. I was just doing one-to-ones with a coach. That's the sort of gym it was. I had no background in anything whatsoever. I'd been like in and out of a boxing gym a little bit as a kid and stuff, but never anything serious. And I've always sort of enjoyed MMA and followed the UFC, but I just did it firstly just because I knew it was good fitness and I wanted to get myself healthy because I was really, really like out of shape. And then I sort of got hooked on it. I was enjoying the sessions, but I was like a complete beginner, and I mean raw as hell. I wasn't doing classes. I wasn't like sparring really. I was just doing like a little bit to play sparring with the coaches that I had doing the PTs and stuff. But I'd done that for about, I think it was 2 years. About 2 years. And then I wanted to fight. I got like really hooked on it. And I thought, Joe, what, I'm going to give this a go. I probably should have joined a full-time gym that was tailored to classes that had sparring in and stuff. I'd never done any sort of jiu-jitsu or anything either. So I sort of, I know you like the common thing to say is like you're always learning when you're doing MMA. I got in these fights probably as raw as you can be. I'd just threw myself in as an amateur and wanted to start competing. So I had my first fight on a show called Budo. I think that was in Chris Clark. Great
shows,
guy.
Yeah.
I think it was Withenshaw. I think. Yeah, Withenshaw. So
at the forum.
The forum, the leisure centre there.
Yeah. Good room.
I think, if I remember rightly, I'll have to double check this, but I think Ian Gary headlined that as well, which is mad. Yeah. I think I'm sure he was the main event. I'll have to double check it, but I'm sure he was, yeah. So, yeah, that's sort of how I got going with it and just sort of threw myself in as probably too quickly and naively, but yeah.
That's all right. So when you started it, let's go back to when you started from watching UFC. Was that Bravo on TV and that sort of thing? Who did you look up to when you watched it in those days?
I loved watching Randy Couture because obviously he was the heavyweight. He went up and down and won both belts, didn't he? And I loved watching Chuck Liddell. I think he was probably my favourite looking back. I love watching Chuck Liddell fights, but I watched all the fights, I love watching fighting. So I was like hooked on that straight away. And not just MMA, boxing as well. I love watching the boxing fights. But yeah, if we're looking at the early days of Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture were probably me two that I looked up to and enjoyed watching the most.
Inspired you to get involved into more with it. then yeah,
Yes, yeah, I suppose so.
to a
Yeah,
extent, yeah.
I wanted to have a go, and I just thought this like because when I was a little bit younger, it wasn't around. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't around. Like there was no gyms, there was no one doing it and stuff. And I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is mega. This like
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
it's so different to anything that was out there. Yeah,
yeah, it was in infancy in itself then,
yeah,
and I suppose you're going back. I don't even know, 15 years.
yeah. Early to mid, yeah, early 2000s, mid 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah, so they just started really coming through. We'd only just started seeing it ourselves in the UK, and I started watching that stage as well. And I was when I started getting involved more and more, and
good
enjoying
old
the fight
days.
side of it as well. The good old days, as they say.
What?
We're like got a grizzly old bear here, It's like, yeah, chiseled away, mate. But yeah, no, I think that's why I was just intrigued because I was thinking you must have been watching about the same time that I started watching it, which was Randy Couture, Tito.
Tito, yeah.
Um, and Chuck Liddell and Mr. International, who I used to love. I don't think he won many fights, but just Mr. International. It was just a great name. So yeah, it's like those are the sort of people we started watching, and then it started changing into the Anderson Silvers and
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have watched Anderson Silva live. I watched him fight Bisping at the O2 in
yeah,
London, and them they weren't actually meant to fight first. It was meant to be Bisping against Musasi,
okay,
and then on Boxing Day, my mate rung me and he said, "Have you seen the fight card?" And I was like, "Well, yeah," and he was like, "No, no, go look, go look." And they changed it, and it was like Anderson Silva, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! I'm going to see Anderson Silva live." And it didn't disappoint. Like,
nah, he was a great fighter. He was a great,
yeah,
great fighter. So that was you getting started into it. So you started 1-to-1s in the gym. You started seeing how things were going and what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, and then you threw yourself into the fight, into the mix straight away.
I did.
What
Yeah, yeah.
what was it
So.
like stepping into the cage for the very first time?
Oh, I was nervous, man. Like I was really nervous. I brought quite a few people with me to watch, which was nice, even though it was all the way like in Wythenshawe. So there wasn't like loads at the show, but the majority of people that were there were supporting me, so that was quite cool. And I managed to stop the first fight in like 20 seconds, I think. So they were easier fights to start with, but
Yeah,
it's sort of how it goes when you're early as an amateur. So I stopped in pretty quick. So I was buzzing, and then I think it was after that first show on Budo. That's when I moved on to FCC as an amateur. So I think my second one was with FCC. I won that one as well, pretty comfortably. I had I had this my whole fucking amateur career. I had to drop out on fight day, so they got me a late replacement who I didn't want to fight because I knew we weren't going to be anything
yeah,
worthwhile. But I had 47 people coming from Wales to watch me in Bolton, and I was like, and it was on the day as well. I was already at the arena, so I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it." I didn't want to do it because I knew it was a journeyman, but I stopped in pretty quick, and then I think that was in June.
mm,
And then I was met a fight guy called Daniel Griffin on a card. I think it was November. Yeah, November. He dropped out on fight week. I got someone else from a gym in Liverpool
yeah,
on the Tuesday of fight week. He dropped out on the Wednesday or Thursday. And then I got a very late replacement. And then Adam put it for the FCC amateur title.
yeah, yeah,
But it was too far too quick the step up. Like he was from one of the big gyms in Liverpool Next Gen. He'd been training a lot longer than me with a lot better people than me. I was, like I said, doing 1-to-1s and stuff. I wasn't really.
yeah,
I
yeah,
started a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but at this point, but I was still predominantly doing like 1-to-1s for the MMA and stuff. And I got stopped in that one. And then that's when it sort of went a little bit wrong in the amateurs for me. I kept um, I kept having pullouts. I think I worked out as an amateur. I ended up having 7 amateur fights, and I think from the second one I had something like 15 pullouts, and most of them were fight week. I think there was only one guy who I now train with, who I
Yeah.
thought that I was meant to fight. But I shouldn't have took that fight either. He was too experienced for me for
Yeah.
where I was at. So, but I was
How,
just
how
trying to learn. I was just trying to learn. Do you know what I mean? I was
yeah.
like, I'll fight and I'll learn. Like I'll do this the
Yeah.
hard way. And yeah,
How do you cope mentally? Because you've prepared and you will have prepared for that fight with that person, and then
yeah.
come fight week, and they for whatever reason, pull out.
Mm.
How does that affect you mentally? When like you said there, I can see the disappointment in your face when you talk about these fights, because obviously it means so much to you that they didn't or wouldn't have happened because of the situations that you were put in. How do you cope with that, Rob?
For a long time, I used to like, I don't know, dwell on it a little bit, and it used to annoy me when I'd lose opponents
Mm,
and stuff. The problem I had, especially, I lost. So I won the first two amateur fights, lost the second two,
mm,
and then I started like, I got myself in this sort of mindset where I was freezing. I was like, everyone gets the nerves backstage and that, but I was like horrendous, like to the point where I was already beat before I walked out. I
mm.
didn't let any shots go. I was like in the cage, and I was like not letting my hands go, and I was more worried about losing the fight than trying to win it, and it just used to hinder me and hinder me. So I went on a bit of a bad run as an amateur. I lost to some, like a couple of guys I've lost to have like gone on to fight on the biggest shows in the world. So I was fighting. There was I think there was two or three that were high caliber. But there's others now that if if I fought them now, I'd be smashing them. So there was like, when I finished the amateur career, we went
Yeah,
into lockdown, and I turned pro.
I was about to say,
Uh,
when did you turn pro? Because it was around lockdown. I didn't know whether it was just before or whether it was afterwards. So
I
explain
think I
that.
think it,
Thank you.
I think it was my first pro fight was it 2021 or 2020? It was around 2020 or 2021. It was on Jamie Hay. He put a show on with Ian Butlin.
I was about to say, because I've got, well, in my research, I'll pull my research back up. You turning pro. I had you turning pro in November 2020 in the loss, but I don't know whether that was right. No, sorry. Oh no,
Is it
I got it
shared
wrong.
over
I got it wrong.
topology?
No. I think it was. Was it? Oh, I don't know. If you carry on, you carry on. Was it the
Yes,
uncaged one? Was it the uncaged one?
uncaged one. Yeah, that that
Yeah,
was that
there
was
you
my
go.
pro debut. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I can't. It might have
May
been.
May 21.
There you go. You're better this than me. Like, yeah.
I've
So
I've
I
I-
might.
I've kerfuffled because we'll come to it. We'll come to
All
we'll talk MMA
right.
right now, but we'll come to the other list of fights that I've got down for you. That's in a different category. So
It is, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I made my pro MMA debut on Jamie Herney and Butlin's show.
yeah,
That
good
was during
lads,
lockdown. Oh, the great lads, yeah.
great lads.
Love both of them guys, yeah. I won that one, and then I was offered a crazy opportunity to go and fight for EFC in South Africa.
Mm,
Um, Again, bright lights, and it was like, should I or shouldn't I? And then they're like, it's a fight. It's basically they said it's a title eliminator,
yeah,
but it was more of a title eliminator on his side than mine. He's fought for the promotion numerous times. I think he was 4-4 when I fought him, so he'd had 8 pro fights. I'd had 1, so he's been doing it a while. And I lost that fight out in South Africa in the first
yeah,
round, and then I got really like annoyed at myself, depressed, thinking, well, yeah, that's the right word. I went into depression after it.
mm,
And I just remember being sat at the hotel after the fight, and it's South Africa, and it started pissing down with rain. And I rung my missus and just said, I don't know if this is for me. Like,
mm,
I keep doing this, and I've started doing it properly now. Have I started it too late? Have I got into proper gym too late? I'm still a novice. I'm still learning. I've gone to the other
yeah,
side of the world and lost. Like, I was getting like silly. I was getting trolled after that. It was horrendous. Like, there was some
really,
nasty comments put online, mate. But so I come home, and like my missus was dead good. She was like, "Don't act on raw emotion. Just think about it when you come back."
yeah, yeah,
And then I come back, and I was still sort of thinking, I don't know about this.
mm,
And then I was on the way to I think I was on the way to do some boxing on the Wirral, if I remember. And I got a message out of nowhere saying, "Hi Rob, it's Andy here. I've got an opportunity here for you if you're interested. Fighting bare knuckle for what will be the BKFC in the UK." Now, I'd had a couple of bare knuckle fights. Was it pre-lockdown or during lockdown? I think it was during lockdown.
During
That's what
lockdown,
you're referring to before.
yeah.
Again, I threw myself in the deep end. I fought for the British title in my first fight. Got stopped on a cut, and then the second lad I fought, he ended up being, I think he dropped down to cruiserweight and won their world title. So, but yeah, I got an offer from BKFC, and they said, "Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Oh God, I don't know about bare knuckle, like, because I just done it because there was nothing else going on during lockdown."
Yeah.
So I went into the gym and I spoke to a couple of my coaches and I said, "What do you think about that?" And they said, "Well, it might sort of kill these nerves that you keep getting if you can go into a bare knuckle fight for a big promotion like that, and you can master the nerves. It might help with the MMA." So I was like, "Oh, I could come home, had a little think about that," and I was like, "I don't know." And then I thought, right, if I want to do this, I want to start. I'm going to have to start doing this properly.
Yeah.
I can't keep going into this half-assed. And so I took a mindset coach on,
Okay.
called Rob Holdsworth, and we had like our initial Zoom call, and I was really impressed with what he was like saying and what he said he could do for me and stuff. But then it come to like the cost of it and that, and I was like, I can't afford this. Like it's a really expensive like outlay that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
But he rung me back the week after and he said, "Listen, I can see how much you need this, so I'm offering it as a sponsorship to you, mate." So he said, "We'll do a call every week." Yeah, what a guy, mate. And I can honestly say he changed everything. Like, I don't know, I can't explain what he did, but we did like hypnotherapy and stuff, and he just changed my whole outlook on fighting. It just clicked. I don't know what it was. It took a while. It took weeks and weeks and weeks, but he snapped me out of the nerves. Like, I still get nervous, but now it's like it's mad. Like, I expect them nerves as part of it. I can control them. I enjoy it almost. So then, I went on. I thought, didn't realise how big this show was going to be. Like, found out it was at fucking Wembley Arena, and there was like 7,500 people, and I was like, "What am I getting myself into?" Yeah. But I went out and I won it. I made him quit on the stool, so he quit on the stool after round 2. And then I had a few more with him. Finished 2-2, I think, with BKFC at the end of my contract. And then I was missing the MMA, bro. I was like, if I can do that with them, my head's right. I made a lot of changes in my training. I do a lot of my stuff with. I've got like boxing coaches now in place. I've got jiu-jitsu coaches in place. I go up to Team Aspinall every week. Well, every week I can, as much as I can anyway. I do rounds with them up there and the best heavyweights on the planet. Literally, like Tom Aspinall, and Phil DeFries, and Mick Parkin, and I don't want to start naming everyone because there's so many. Joffrey Holden.
You are with Tom Aspinall. I mean, interim UFC.
That's what I mean.
So you can't get much higher in accolades really than the UFC championship. So.
Big Hype Podcast, sponsored by Hype Energy Drinks.
I think, like, on the mat at one point, we had, like, the UFC interim champ, the Brave heavyweight champ, the KSW heavyweight champ, the PFL 22 heavyweight champ. There was the Cage Warriors light heavyweight champ. Then there was, like, three other, I think there was two other UFC fighters, 2 other PFL fighters, Aries fighter, there's so many, mate. Honestly, the level there is unreal. So I
That's
started
awesome.
training, and Andy, his dad as well, is one of the best people I've ever met in my life, mate. He's just top guy. Like the way he can teaches the sessions and explains things, and just his whole demeanour, mate. But all the guys up there, they're just special people, mate. And I thought, right, I'm gonna have another go at this MMA. I'm missing it. So yeah, I ended up having, I think, three pro MMA fights last year, and I won all of them in the first round. Finished the year 4-1 as a pro. So I put myself in a good position. I've got like a good manager now and good people around me. I'm training properly, so
Yeah.
it's hopefully looking good.
Yeah, I mean, because like you say, you three last year, all in the cage, all wins.
Yeah,
You had Jean Charles Matara
yeah. I fought
in
him.
the
I fought
first
him
in the
twice.
Anglesey. You had
He
Sam
was,
Spokes, and then you fought Joan again in the
yeah,
at the end of the year.
he was begging me for a rematch. He was asking to fight me in bare-knuckle and this guy from France, and I was like, "Oh, just leave me alone."
Yeah.
But I'll give him a rematch, but I'll beat him again. So, um,
I don't know Anglesey fight night, so I don't know what that one was. So, but
yeah,
I
that's
certainly
it.
know Almighty and not Octagon Wars. They're top teams again. Good shows,
Yeah.
good quality shows. Good to have you on as best as well. I imagine with being so close up that way as well. Really is a good fight network up there as well, around
There is,
Manchester
man.
and Liverpool area.
Some
And lots of
really
stuff
good
going on there.
shows up there. So, but this year, mate, I've struggled getting an MMA fight. So we were pushing for PFL a lot.
Yeah.
On my socials, my manager, I was speaking to him, he was speaking to him, and I thought I was going to fight on the card in Paris.
Okay.
I called out a guy. He wanted to fight me as well. I think he was 5-2 or 6-2. So
Yeah.
similar records. I'm 4-1, and he's from France. And I thought, yeah, this will happen. And then it just didn't materialise, mate. So I've ended up taking another fight with the BKFC to keep me busy.
Oh, yeah. Like you
I enjoy it,
said there.
mate.
I like it. Like you said, I like the attitude is this. I want to keep busy. You want to keep fighting. I understand that. You don't want to be resting around waiting for 12 months for your fight to materialize, because sometimes it might not materialize, and that's the risk, isn't it?
It is, mate. And I think there's been 12 months between my last bare knuckle fight, and I'm miles ahead of where I was 12 months ago. So, yeah, I'll have another little go with that. See where
See where it
goes.
goes.
But I've got my eyes on a couple of the bigger promotions. There was something offered on Brave
Wow. Okay.
for June, but I said yes. They said the other fighters team said no. So maybe I'll get one with them. But I've got my eyes on a couple of other promotions to see if I can get with them. What I do now is sign a multi-fight deal with someone, because I'm 4-1 as a heavyweight. It's decent. So I'm hoping there's someone out there that can take me on a multi-fight, a three or four fight deal after this bare knuckle fight. I'm hoping so. I'll still dip in and out with the BKFC if there's opportunity there, but the concentration is MMA. I'm not a bare knuckle fighter. I'm an MMA. I'm finally an MMA fighter. It just took me a while to tick off the boxes to get it right.
I've always known you as an MMA fighter, so it was when I started seeing you on the socials doing bare knuckle, I was going, oh,
What's
okay. What's he doing? Why is he growing? What's he doing? What? Lots of questions around it, but I think, again, like you said, you want to keep active and you want to be involved, and you don't want to let the skills that you're learning and crafting, you want to give them an opportunity to try something, and that the BK just offers that opportunity at the moment to keep your skills.
It does.
Sharpen the knife, if you like, sharpen the edges.
And over the last 12 months, my boxing and my hands are probably my best attribute now. So in my sparring and stuff, I think that's where my strengths are. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to testing it and seeing how much it has come up since that last bare knuckle fight last year. I think it's like last June or July or something. So yeah.
So where would you like to see this go? Where would you like to get this going now? Is there something that's bugging you in the back of your brain that's like, I want to tick that box now. I want, I don't know, gold. It's
So
nearly strap season.
the MMA fighter wants to fight for the UFC. The problem I've got is I'm a heavyweight, but I might be getting a bit too old. 35. So I think if that ever was to happen, it would have to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. Which, I mean, if I can get the fights and get like 3 or 4 wins, who knows, it might happen. But I'm not going to concentrate on that. I'm just going to concentrate on getting the fights. There's a promotion out there I've been speaking to someone today about, and I've really got my eyes on it. I really fancy it. It's Karate Combat.
Okay.
Because they've changed the rule set quite a lot. It's
Right,
more
okay.
like MMA without submissions. And I was watching the show last weekend before, and I'm just mesmerised by it. It looks right up my street. You can ground and pound. You can use takedowns as long as you're not double legging or suplexing. So you can use like single leg catching the leg.
Yeah.
Leg kicks, elbows. So it's not even karate. It literally is not karate.
It's not.
It's like an elite like strikers league, and I've got my eyes on that. If I can get like in touch and get me way in there, I will. PFL might still be an option, but I don't know. It's just
Never say never in this industry, is it? You never say never because you don't know what's around the corner. You never know. They might just sit around and say, "Well, actually, we've had a little listen to the podcast." Never know. And they like what they've heard and they've seen your fights, and maybe put in a good word for that one as well. So
my goal with it and what it's always been is to sign with someone and make enough money for it to be my full-time job, which is like, I think that's ideal. I don't need to be making like, I don't know what the highest fights get, like 300, 400, 500 grand a fight. If I could make 40 or 50 grand a fight for a big promotion, I'd be more than happy with that. Fighting twice a year, that's all I need. I'm not like after millions and millions of pounds. I like KSW as well. It's another promotion that I like, and obviously I've been doing a lot with Eddie Hall, and he's just had his fight on there. So,
well, you kind of got to where I wanted to get to. Was how did all that? No, how did all that come about? How did you get to train with Eddie then?
So he come up to the Aspirations team's gym last year, I think. So he knows Tom, and I just come up as normal on a sparring day, and Mike Peel, who's Tom's striking coach, just said, Eddie wants some rounds off the lads in the cage. Can you go in and do a few with them? I was like, yeah, fit the sound. So I ended up staying in for like 3 or 4 with him, and I just got pally with him then. His coaches and that, G and Jake, their father and son, and I just got on with them really well straight away. And then I think it was in December. Yeah, December. I think Jake messaged me and said, "Do you want to come down to Staffordshire? I think it's Stone, and do some training with Eddie from January." And I was like, "Yeah, just let me know when. I'm up for that." And then it just progressed. It was like every week I was down, and I was very lucky, mate, because like Eddie paid for my travel there. He like his coaches and then helped me pay my medical fees for the year for my fights.
Wow.
So that's covered until, I think, the bloods and everything I have to do every 6 months. So I'm covered till August, I think, with that anyway. And then he even offered to pay for me to go and watch his fight. He said, "I'll pay for your flights, your hotel," but I couldn't make it work with my job. There was no cover in place, and I didn't want to be unemployed when I come home. So
kind of important. It's watching. We love the fight game that much. We're not going to lose our jobs over sometimes.
But yeah, I was doing a lot of work with him. I was a big part of his camp. I was there every week since January. So I got a few injuries, mate, but it's hard. So it was all fun.
Because he's dropped down, and he's looking fantastic shape as well. As yourself, actually, you're looking in great shape as well.
Oh, thank you, mate, and yourself.
I'm still chubby, but it's fine. I am dropping pounds, but nowhere near. I want to get into the cruiserweights. I'm still a heavyweight, so if me and you ever want to fight, then I'm down for that.
I nearly went down to light heavyweight once. Well, there was talk of it, and I was trying.
Yeah,
And I think I got down to 112 kilogram, and I felt terrible, mate. I'm too big. Like, I'm literally too big. I have to cut for 120. So I was like,
really.
I'm not getting down to 93. There's no way my body's going down there. I like fighting heavyweight. I like fighting with the big boys.
I think you probably have to lose a lot of muscle that you've gained, and that
Yeah,
wouldn't be a good thing for you to do.
The last 12 months, I've been doing a lot more strength and conditioning as well. So there's probably a lot of muscle mass I'd end up losing, and that as well. My legs are huge too, so I think it just made me ill, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, let's not try that. But if you ever want to spar, and I'll have a spar with you, you can punch me in the face. That's fine. Some people would like that to have my face punched in, but there you go. Anyway, is there something that, again, like you said there, you'd like to make this a career and have it pay the bills enough for you to go off and do it full time and not have to work there as well. Is there anything you'd like more to? Is there anything you'd like to do after perhaps when you finished up, like you said, and hang the gloves up? Or
I'd like to coach. I'd like to have my own gym. I think that'd be like a step after it. I'd like to open a decent sized gym, and that could sort of be like long term, like pension for me and stuff. And the one thing I have got going for me is because I was so like half-assed and I'm not doing it properly for the first 4 or 5 years maybe, and because I started late, I think I've got quite a few years left doing it. Heavyweights tend to go into the early 40s anyway, don't they? But
yeah,
I haven't got much damage. I haven't got many rounds on my head from like compared to like lads that started in their early 20s. So I'm 35. I reckon I can, if I keep going how I'm going and keep winning fights and looking after myself, and I reckon I can keep going till I'm 43 or something. So 7, 8 years.
Listen to your body. At the end of the day, listen to what your body's telling you. And then again, like you say, because you didn't start at as you say, 18. You weren't in gyms or anything at that sort of age, and getting in fights in cages and doing those at that age. You probably have got, and as long as the body will let you, you'll be able to carry on.
I'm not broken yet.
No,
I'm not
exactly.
Broken yet, so
that's what I'm trying to say.
If I start feeling it, then I know. Like I'll be like, it's time to slow down. But I think maybe coaching or something, like I said before.
Awesome.
I'd like to stay involved with it some capacity, maybe like, I don't know, commentary or judging, or
as long as you don't want MC, mate, that's fine.
Oh, I'd be terrible at that. I think don't think of anything worse, mate. I'd be fucking more nervous doing that than. Oh.
I get nervous when you say about nervous. I'm still like, I still get nervous. I just kind of learned to ride to them now and learn how to go with it. So
I'd be so scared of, like, because I'm not great at speaking, and if it was like loads of people saying the right, I'd be like,
it's all right. You just power through like I do.
Swing it,
wing it like I do. Try my hardest. Anyway, mate, we have a little bit of a closing tradition on the podcast. I'm just going to throw you some either or questions. So it's whichever one you prefer. Doesn't matter if you want to be that or take it or receive it, whatever, however you want to play it. But what is your favourite and what is your preferred? So, are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Southpaw or orthodox?
I fucking hate southpaws. I'm fighting a southpaw next. I hate them. They're horrible to spar. They're horrible, just awkward, and no, I hate southpaws. Fuck southpaws.
Body shots or headshots?
Oh, I take headshots all day. Sorry, hate body shots are the worst. You can get punched in the head 3 or 4 times. You get one bad body shot, it's done.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. Train alone or with a partner?
It depends what you're doing, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, I enjoy the sparring and stuff and groups, but I do a lot of my own work as well, like running and gym work, and I like sometimes just zoning in on my own and getting stuff done. But I do like training in the groups with people as well, yeah.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, early. I go bed early and I get up early, so I can go bed. Sometimes I'll be asleep by 9:30, but but I'll be up by 4 a.m.
I just thought it was because I'm old. That's I do the same now. I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going, oh, what do I do now? Okay,
I love it. I love that time of day. If I can go out running or walking or anything, or even like in the garden, I do like cold plunges and stuff. There's just no sound. I love it. I just love that peace and quiet.
Yeah. Okay. A heavy bag or a speed bag?
Heavy. I like landing on a heavy bag.
Are you more preferred as an underdog or as the favourite?
I like being the underdog. Everyone loves an underdog, don't they? But I like
everyone does. Everyone does.
I don't know. You just got less pressure on you. Like the lad I'm fighting on the BKFC, I'm not the underdog there, but he's from Birmingham. He's a ticket seller, so he's got that pressure on him.
He's
like
the favourite then.
Hometown show, so I'll call him the favourite, even though I'm going to smash him.
In the gym or outdoors for your training?
Both.
Both.
I like being outside. Yeah, I do like being outside. I love going for walks and running and stuff like that. So it depends what I'm doing. I like being in the gym with the guys and then doing my weights and stuff as well. But I do like the outdoors.
Okay. Short and powerful or long and technical? What would you prefer your bouts to be?
Either.
As long as you get the win, he's like, yeah, as long as I get the win.
I think both provide their own problems. Because I'm 6'4", and I'm tall, and I'm not necessarily dead rangy. There's lads in the gym that are training, they're more rangy than me, and they're difficult to spar.
Mm.
But then the shorter guys are as well, because you have to punch down.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't like either, mate. Some of the same size as me, same power, same speed. Yeah.
Even match, okay.
Yeah.
Fight dirty or clean?
Clean, but you can throw in a couple of naughty tricks now and again.
Loud crowd or the quiet atmosphere?
Loud. I like a loud crowd.
I should come back to that question. What are the dirty tricks then?
I don't know. There's things that are legal that are like, I don't know, like toe stamps and stuff, and like in boxing you can follow through with an elbow by mistake or
by mistake. In inverted commas, yeah.
To be fair, I've never done anything like that, to be fair, but I imagine it being quite fun.
Okay. Quick knockout or strategic win?
I mean, you don't get paid by the minute, do you? So
True.
It's always nice. It's always nice getting a quick knockout. I would like some more time in the cage with the MMA, because I'm 4-1 and all 4 wins have been in round 1. Yeah. So it would be nice to get more cage time. Bare-knuckle, fucking quick as I can get it done. you don't want to be in there for 5 rounds, trust me.
Fair enough.
It's not a nice thing to do a lot of rounds in bare-knuckle.
Last but not least, hypothetical question: if this fight ever came off, AJ or Fury?
I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. I like AJ. I think he's very good. And if you'd have asked me that before he lost to Dubois, I might have had a different opinion. But I know Fury lost his last 2 fights to Usyk, but so has AJ. I just think Fury is the more technical and has got more ring craft, and I think he would drag it out into the later rounds. And don't think he'd stop AJ, but I think he'd do him on points.
Bring him into the deep waters.
I like Tyson Fury. I like him as a person. I like his personality, and that resonates with me. I've got ADHD and stuff like that, so like his mood swings and stuff. I've watched like the program on him and that, and I just like him as a guy. I think he's a great guy. Yeah,
he's a great guy. I've met him a couple of times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, one was at an FCC show in Manchester. Was it backstage? I've met him since then as well. So, but yeah, he's a great guy as well. And I, like I said, I can't pick either or really. I'd love to see that fight happen.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's really got to happen. Yeah.
Yes. So, Rob, how do people get involved with you? How do they follow your story? What can they do to support you?
Instagram, Rob Cunningham. Facebook's just Rob Cunningham. I think they're the only 2 I've got. Yeah, they are. I don't use like X or anything like that. I post my Instagram page is all for my fight stuff. So everything goes on there. So that's probably the best one if anyone's interested in
Fantastic.
shit that I
Thanks, Rob. Fantastic, Rob. Thanks very much for coming on the Big Hype podcast. Any last comments?
I would list a thank you to my sponsors, but I've took some new ones on at the moment, so I'll end up saying ones and then forgetting some. I've got quite a few, but I'm very grateful to them for backing me. I've got some really good sponsors, really good team of sponsors, and then obviously the lady upstairs has been through this from day one with me. First day I walked into the gym, and she's like sacrificed a lot for me to do it as well, in regards to like I've cut my work down. I started training more. I'm always out the house training and stuff. So I'm very grateful to the missus for sticking by me through the shitty amateur days where I couldn't string a 3-5 win streak together to now where I'm doing all right with it.
You're tracking well, mate. You're tracking well. Anyway, thank you so much, Rob, for coming on the Big Hype podcast.
Pleasure.
Wish you every success in the future. I'm going to watch the story as I've watched the story for the last couple of years unravel and reveal itself and show where you're going. So I wish you every success, mate, with it, and look forward to seeing you in the majors, whatever that is, whatever you're doing. I look forward to seeing you, mate. It's always a pleasure.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. But thank you very much, man. I really appreciate having me on.
No worries. Take care. All right.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Big Hype podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. And really, I just want to ask you personally, if you could just send this on to a friend. Send it in their text, to their socials, to WhatsApp, whatever. However you get it to them, just get it to them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it, and I certainly will appreciate it. So thanks again for listening to the Big Hype podcast, and thank you again for sending and sharing.